I do research on Asian American literature and culture with a focus on women specifically. I just published a book on Mulan. I think that represents the focus of my research. A lot of the Americans know about Mulan because of Disney's movie, the 1998 animation film Mulan. I grew up in China, so I'm very familiar with the Mulan story. She was a folk heroine out of a folk ballad. Of course, when I saw the Disney movie, that's a very different interpretation of Mulan. So I decided to dig in a little bit and find out whether there are other variations of her story and what those changes might tell us. And to my surprise, I found a lot of variations of her story from the 4th century in China until nowadays in various genres. I find it very interesting how the story started with the legend and then it moved into historical documents in Chinese tradition. So, you have different regions by the 19th century started to claim Mulan as their local heroine. I find that adds another layer of complexity to current Asian American studies because when Chinese American texts or Disney movie try to claim authenticity for their representation, they refer to the Chinese Mulan story. And what I found out is it's hard to say what is the Chinese Mulan story because there are so many variations. I also wrote a book on Amy Tan. That's another very well-known Chinese American woman writer. This book is mainly facing students and general readers. Amy Tan has been a pretty productive writer. She published several novels and a book of memoir. So this book provides discussion questions besides overview of her work, the discussion of her personal experience, how that fits into her writing. So this is more a book for students. I also edited a collection on transnationalism and Asian American heroine. That's more a branch out of the Mulan research. I have contributors from Australia, from Europe, from United States, from Taiwan. During the past 2-3 years, I did more extensive research on comics, especially comics in conjunction with ethnicity. I just published an article on Jin Young's American-Born Chinese. That's the first graphic novel to win the Prince Award. I talked about how he played with the racial stereotypes a lot of Americans are familiar with. My research is closely tied with my teaching. I teach graphic novel, I teach race and ethnicity. Students are more and more interested in visual materials. I share my research with my students. I encourage them to follow their passion. If they have a new interest, I encourage them to pursue that further and see if it might turn out to be a worthwhile project to follow through. My teaching inspired my research, and my research helped me to be a better teacher in the classroom.